So LWC actually a Lightning Web Component. I think you have heard about this particular name. So this is actually HTML based component which is developed by Salesforce, and it is very web friendly and also the user friendly to building a customized component on top of Salesforce. Actually, previously we have Aura or Visual Force page. Now, as the technology is changing day by day, so Salesforce has introduced a new component or custom means web component, which is actually talking to the uh, web page and everything with the latest technologies, latest language, you can say. Think I mean this. So, yeah, okay. So the start to start the Lightning web component, I think you already written some of the Apex classes. You all know, right? What how to write the Apex class, how to do the means write the method and do some logics there. Everyone knows that part very clearly. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So and I think you all have installed the Visual Studio Code for that. I think to writing the code. So
I've
for
done.
write, yeah, for writing or doing any changes in the Lightning Web Component, Visual Studio Code is actually the mandatory thing you have to do. Means Visual Studio Code you have to install, and in Salesforce normally in Developer Console you can write the Apex class or a component, but you cannot write the LWC component there. For that you have to install the Visual Studio Code in your local machine, and then from there you can write the normal LWC component. So let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going from the basic. I think Ritobroto, Dipanjan, I think you already gone through these particular basics ones. But for everyone, actually, I am starting from this particular basic part.
Yes.
This is the first topic on the trailhead. You will get means Salesforce Lightning Web Component Basic. If you go, then it is the basic component. Before you have a hands-on org that how you can install the Visual Studio Code and what is the extensions you have to install in Visual Studio Code to access those Apex class and Lightning Web Components, everything. But I think you already installed the Visual Studio Code, so that part is not required right now. This is the particular starting point to writing the LWC component. So how you are writing the LWC component, I'm explaining one by one. If I go any particular, let's say it's a my mind Visual Studio Code, and I have logged in this means I have actually installed in my local machine, and I am logging with my any Trailhead account by this Visual Studio Code. So in the Visual Studio Code, normally you are getting the classes or a component pages. Here you also get a options called LWC. What you have to do, just you have to create a right click here, and you have to create a Lightning Web Component. You can give any name, whatever the file or the like the Apex class name you are writing, some of the name you can give. You can select the default directory from there, and automatically one Lightning Web Component part, a package you can say, will be created. So just this is always created, but you can ignore this one. This is not required, this test part. So now in a package or Lightning Web Component, you have actually three part. One is the HTML, one is the JS, means JavaScript, and one is the XML. HTML is actually how you, whatever actually you can see in the screen. That means in a page, if you have some button or some data, that is controlling the HTML part. HTML is actually how you can, what you can see in the screen. This is the actually the HTML part. JavaScript part is controlling if you have any actions, if you want to do any actions, basic actions. That is the actually the JavaScript part. And XML part is containing that how actually you can use this particular LWC component. So means either you are using, you want to use this as a record page or home page or any other app page, something like that. Those is actually controlled in XML. Normally in XML part, we are actually exposing this. See, you can see here is expose equal to false. Means it is not exposed in any particular environment or organizations. That means if you write anything here, but you cannot find in the org where is the lightning web component, because it is marked as is expose equal to false. So whatever the lightning web component you are writing, whatever the code you are writing in HTML or JavaScript, you have to go in the XML part and you have to make it true. Otherwise you cannot install or you cannot get that particular lightning web component in the page or in the org. Okay. And also here we are mentioning how you can use, means either it's a web page or record page or some app page, something like that. I will come one by one later. Just let's start with the HTML part. So this is actually how it is explained that how you can create the one lightning component. You can see the same something whenever you are actually writing a web, means creating any web component, lightning web component in HTML. It is coming a syntax called template. So in any HTML part, sorry, or any page, you are actually you have a specific format how you have to write. So here the syntax, the template, in between the template syntax, you have to write your whole code, what actually you want to show in the page. So template automatically, this particular part, whenever you are actually creating any lightning web component, automatically this part will come in the page. In between these tags in template and means ending template syntax, you have to write your whole code. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Hmm.
Now, just I'm writing a basic part. Whatever is written here, I'm just copying this particular code, I'm writing there. You can copy this full part or you can copy only this particular part, because if whenever you are creating any lightning web component, automatically this template and ending template tag, automatically this tag will come. Just I'm writing this particular part which is written in between the template tag. Now this is all how you can start the writing the web component or display component in LWC. What is lightning card? Card means it's actually a placeholder. Okay, like you are if you have any time written any class in Visual Force page, or I think you have, so you have seen that deep component we are writing. You have any idea, anyone, deep component about?
No, sir.
Okay, so deep lightning card, this is actually used in the HTML to show a separate section, separate means part to display something. Like if you have in a page like four sections if you want to showcase, like in the top sections you have one header, in the below sections you have one in the means bottom section you have footer, and in between you have some of the different sections. Let's say you want to show the account, then from there you want to show the contact, related contact, and also related opportunity. For that you can write different sections. That means all together it should not show in the page. Then we can segregate those sections between this tag lightning card or div. So div and lightning card is a container. Div also actually segregating those part in a different sections. This is the actually the syntax, actually how we are writing the any web component, means either it's a HTML or in Visual Force page, something like that. Now
Sir, one question, sir.
yeah,
Sir, it means the whenever I read in the lightning card and the division, I mean div, then if I wanted to add something, I have to write after division, right? After the closing division.
Write something means see, there is a based on the requirement you have to think about what you have to write. Let's say this is a div, okay,
Hmm.
and there is another section, something like that.
Yes, yes.
Okay, now upper part is showing something different, lower part is showing something different. Okay,
Hmm.
I am just changing this one. There is no hello part. Let's say upper part is actually saying the hello, and now greeting means whatever. I will tell you what is actually this greeting mean. Now lower part is something different. Now you have to check the requirement where actually you have to add your part, your code. If it is in this particular sections, just you can write here in between div.
Hmm.
If it is in the lower sections, then you can write here. Or if it is not in this section, because you don't want in these sections also or in these sections also, then you can write here the particular code. Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
So it depends that how actually what actually you have the requirement. Based on that, and deep is actually a segregations, means we are segregating different sections. Now in which sections you have to add your add your code or add your component, that you have to decide. Either it can be in between these two, or another sections if you want to create, then you can just create those one. Means I can write div, automatically it will be, see the end start tag and end tag, automatically it will come. You can write another sections or you can copy paste whatever you want. The class is actually nothing but this is the styling automatically SLDS, that is the Salesforce Lightning Design System. Automatically this SLDS is the means you can say standard Salesforce Lightning design format, which is it's taking automatic automatic means it will automatically take whatever is defined in this particular design system. You have to define means you have to write this design system, otherwise it will not take the look and feel from there, this particular one. Okay, so that means template lightning card, you understood, that is actually a segregations, that means a container. Now we are segregating different section by div. Okay, and in between there you have some of the class is nothing but the look and feel part. Look and feel means how actually the css, and css means how in the page this particular sections looks like. You can give this particular css means the look and feed field parameters, or you cannot, that is depend on you. But normally we are giving this one so that the page should look like a user friendly mode. In this particular class part, do you have any query or any confusion why we are using this class or any css means style class in the page?
Sir, I have a question. Sir,
Yes.
actually, in the division code, in the division starting tab, you are using a class name SLDS something. So I think this should be written previously in Salesforce, the CSS class name.
Yes, this is the standard one. The standard particular one we are using. SLDS is actually is Salesforce Lightning Design System, SLDS. This is a standard. What we are doing, we are just get means we are just putting this particular tag in a class parameter. That means that sections will take the look and feel values, not values, look and feel parameters from this particular sections. There's not sections from this particular css part. That means automatically it will take, we don't have to mention the margin, we don't have to mention in which means how it will look like, something means every css part you don't have to define. Automatically what is the inbuilt css part, it will take from this particular syntax.
Sir, if I want to define something, I have to I have to write a CSS class, right? Then
Yes, yes.
then the class name will call here in the double
Yes,
inverted commas.
yes, means you are, if you want to customize your css, whatever the standard css is given here, you don't want to use there, you can write that one here. You can write a css class, just you can write a css here, means LWC basic hello world dot CSS. There you can override this particular standard behavior of this particular parameters. Or you can write another CSS, means totally a new CSS class, and you can use there. But this is actually in the advanced level we are talking. That's why for the basic, what we are doing, we are just giving you an idea that how actually you can start the writing the LWC component. First of all, the template tag you have to write. In between the template tag, you have to write your whole component in HTML. Lightning card is a sections. In between lightning card, you can write a different div component. That means to segregate the different sections. Div component, in div component you can use the CSS, standard CSS. This is the standard Salesforce Lightning Design System CSS. Class means is actually it's here, you don't confuse, like class means it's not like Apex class or something. It's nothing but the HTML property. It's taking the look and feel properties from any particular one. In class tag, you can write anything whatever you want, means any custom CSS, or we have used the standard CSS part. That means whatever Salesforce already provided, we just using that one for the basic. Clear?
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. Now just I'm deleting this one. I'm going with the basic one. Okay. This is my HTML part. Now I am going for a JS part, means JavaScript part. Why I am going for a JavaScript part? Because see here we have given a input value, input parameters. Lightning input. This is the tag where actually we are defining input parameters. Means you can use, you can give some value. Now in lightning here, different tag actually defining different lightning input. You can write a text box, you can give a text box, or you can give a checkbox, you can give a pick list value. Everything include in this lightning input tag. In the later sections, I will give you idea that how you can write those particular lightning input value. Means either you can add a drop down, and how you can show the drop down in the page. If you want to show a text field or checkbox field, how you can show. Now for the starting point, just say lightning input, we are using a lightning input field whose label is name. Means we have given a name of this field. Normally whenever you are logging in a Salesforce and you are opening a record page, always you are the label, the field name is coming in the top of the record, right?
Hmm.
So this is actually the label. Means if I go in a particular, let's say any record, let's say if I go to the account, when I am clicking on any new or edit view, let's say I'm going this one, the record type, this is the label. The same thing we have defined. The label will be name. Now value means whatever you are giving as an input or that particular input field, that is coming in a value part. And we are actually greeting is actually a variable. So value we are storing in greeting, it's a variable. This variable we are showing, means we are actually displaying here. That means whatever the value you are giving in the input field, automatically in the header part it will show. And see, automatically it will show. But if let's say if you change something and if you give some new value, then you have to show the changed value also. For that we have written a action called on change. What is on change? It is a action. That means in the input field, whenever you are changing the value, that time it will fire. Now in Apex class, you have seen some, you have actually heard about the trigger, right?
Hmm.
Trigger means when it will fire in some context, either when you are updating a record or inserting a record or deleting a record, something like that. So same like not same means not, it's a triggering point. Same like trigger point here on change. It's not, means whenever in this input field you are changing the value, this will trigger or this will fire on change function. Now this function property change handler, we have to write the property in the JS JavaScript part. So that's why we need the JavaScript. Now see, this is the basic lightning HTML part. Now if we don't use this particular one, we don't require, let's say we just stop this particular one. We don't want any action right now. And just forgot about that. We are actually giving a static value. And if I deploy this one, what will happen? It will be a static. That means there is no action. Let's say deploy this one. Okay. First of all, in the HTML part, XML part, I have to make it true. Also, for using in either web page or home page, I have to expose this particular one. How? See, this is the syntax it is given, the HTML. The target means where actually you can use this particular lightning web component. You have to mention the targets lightning underscore app page. That means in any app particular app you can use this particular is lightning web component. Underscore record page means in any record page you can add this particular web component, it will be available. And underscore home page means you can use in any home page component. Now if you don't give this particular one or this particular one, what will happen? In any record page you cannot add this lightning web component. Record page means if you go any record, let's say you are going this record, this is the record page. Means whenever you opening any record in this particular page, if you want to add that lightning web component, and if you don't give the syntax lightning underscore record page, you will not get these options to add this lightning web component. Okay. And also if you don't give this particular one, this syntax, that means home page, if you just remove this particular one, what will happen? Any home component you cannot add this particular means lightning web component. This is clear.
Yes.
Hmm. Yes.
But also you have to be sure that this is expose tag should be written as true. Otherwise if you write false and if you add all those things, then also you will not get the particular light or wave component because you have not exposed this wave component. So fast in XML part, normally we are not writing so much code. It's just what we doing, what we are doing. It's the API version, so automatically it is coming the latest version. You don't have to change here anything. Here automatically easy expose is coming as false. You have to make it true, and you have to mention the target components, means where actually you want to use this particular web component. Either it will be a app page or record page or home page. Normally you can write three of them as add together, and in any particular page if you want to add, you can add. Okay, that doesn't means that normally you want to use in the record page, you don't write this home page component or record app page component. If you write, it will not create any problem. Just I'm just deploying, just I have changed this code to particular code. Now I'm deploying whole. See, I'm not deploying only the XML part, I am deploying the whole package. Okay, always try whenever you are changing any code, always try to deploy as a whole, not the particular JS component. You can just deploy this particular one also, or you can just deploy the JS component also. But always is a best practice whenever you are changing any code, either you are changing the HTML part or JavaScript part or any XML part, you just deploy this component as a whole package always. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now what I have written here, see, just I have written a basic HTML. I have not given any JS part here. I have not written. Automatically it will come. What is this particular syntax? I'll come later. Now I have not written any action properties. Now what I will do? I just add this in the home page. Any home page, I am just adding this particular sections. Let's see. Go to the setup. I clicking on the edit page. See LWC basic hello world, it is coming. Just I am dragging and adding in this particular home page and save. Now what is coming? See a static value hello world, because we have not given anything, just a lightning web component, just showcase something. Okay, if you something change here, this is the all the static value, that means not the dynamic one. If you something change here, and if as a whole package, if I want to deploy this one, and if I refresh this page, see this will change. This is the static component, means a lightning web component which is showing a text, static text called hello world. Okay, now if you want to add, means extend more functionality, if you want some of the actions here, how you can use. So actions normally we are writing in the JS by JavaScript part. That means if you want to do some actions, on change event, on click event, or if you want to call any Apex class, or you call any Apex method, those particular, and also if you want to populate automatically when you are loading any app, lightning web component, you want to populate some of the lists of accounts or some of the list of contact, those all particular part is actually controlled in the JS. HTML is actually to display something, but the actions in the backend actions, how you are actually calling any Apex method, or how you are actually handling any event. Handling any event means if you are changing something or clicking any button, what will happen after that? Those particular actions is control or written in the JavaScript part. Clear?
Yes, sir.
That's why in the lightning web component you have one HTML mean display, you can say. JavaScript means actions, whatever the backend actions you are doing. XML means how you can use, where actually you can use this particular web component. Either it's a home, as a home page component you want to use, or record page, or app page, something like that. That's why this is a composite package of HTML, JS, and XML, any lightning web component. Now what will happen? Now what will I will do? I will make it dynamic.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, so what is the purpose of the that P hello world? Two sides of hello world. There is a P greater than less than and
Oh,
closing the P.
P
What
is
is the purpose
actually,
of the P?
yeah, P is actually a tag. It's actually a header. Means if you want to show any line as a header or as a tag, it's actually a syntax tag. You can say P. In the HTML, you have different languages. Now, if you search it in this particular one in Google, you can get actually what actually is happening.
Sir, I think its name is paragraph in HTML.
Yes, in HTML. Paragraph, see, defines a paragraph.
Paragraph.
It's in HTML. If you want to learn some of the new tags or new syntax, you can just go to these W3 schools. It's very familiar. You can give it get a different this particular sections, what is actually used. Those tags actually is used in the lightning web components. All the HTML tags is used in the lightning web component. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I'm making it dynamic. What will do, I just what will, in this particular input field, now just let's see, let's I am let don't I'm not doing anything, just I'm what I'm doing, just deploying this particular lightning input part. What will happen in the page? See, you can see I have not written anything in the JavaScript part right now. Just I am added one input field here. Okay, now just if I refresh this one, See, it is the input field is automatically a coming text field, okay, which is actually given the label as name. Clear? Now, if I write anything, it will not happen because I have not added these actions yet. Now, I want this hello world should be dynamic. That means in the name input field, whatever I am writing, I want that particular one, it should come here after hello. Okay. Now, whatever I am writing or changing, you can say it's a right now it's a blank. I am writing something. That means I am changing the value of this that particular text field. Okay. That's why we have added a on change event. It's a event. That means you are firing the event. Like in the trigger, you are firing some event either at the time of record creation or edit. Same, it's a HTML event you are firing. That means if you are changing something, let's say you are writing something, this is actually firing the event. Okay. In this, if you see this particular one, here you have a button called save. Okay. Account name save. If you click on the save button, automatically one event will fire. Clicking on save and firing the event called on click event means you are clicking something and you are firing. This is actually called on change, means you are changing something and you are firing. Clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sir, hello world is a static part. When we deploying this source to work, that is fine. I will understand. But the name level and the name field where we are giving some input like Apex, from where it is coming, sir?
Where it is coming means I have written one input parameter.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
The label of the input field is name. This is
Okay, sir.
actually coming as name.
Hmm.
And value means whatever the value or text field I am writing here, alphanumeric field, whatever the value we are writing, this is coming in this particular variable greeting, and those greeting actually you are displaying after the hello. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So right now we have not written the on change handler part. That's why it is not making dynamic, means it is not giving you this value. Whenever actually we are writing the JS component, not normally the change you can see. But this you have, I think you have got your answer, right?
Yes, sir. I have got it, sir.
Yeah. Now I am writing the on change event. On change, we have called a method called change handler. Now I am going to the JS part. See, in the JS part, automatically whenever you are creating any lightning web component, as you can see in the HTML part, automatically template tag is come, one starting tag and ending tag, and in between that template tag you have to write all your display component. In JS part, automatically this particular two code it will be populated. What is that? LWC is a lightning web component, you can say libraries, where actually from where you are fetching the lightning element to do the JavaScript action. Means you are importing the lightning element functionalities from LWC. LWC is actually a lightning web component libraries. It is written in Salesforce. It is standard. Always you have to write in this way. You cannot give any dynamic value here. It will be always LWC, small l, small w, small c. Automatically it will come. So you don't have to change anything in this particular sections. Okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, export default class. Now, what is this class name is coming? This class name is automatically taking the value of the lightning web component. Whatever I have given LWC basic hello world, automatically it is taking. You can write, you can change it whatever you want. If you want any other part, you means any other values, you can give it. Normally, for best practice, we are not changing this value. And this particular means we are exporting the default class. Default class, what is the class name? Class name is actually, you can give anything, but normally it is taking the lightning web component name, which is extending the lightning element. Lightning element, what is that? This lightning element, this component. and see this start and end tag in between this particular one. You have to write all your JavaScript actions code. Okay, like in HTML, you are writing your display component in between the tag template. Here also you have to write every code, means any on click event, on change event, or any other particular method. If you want to write here, you have to write in between this particular tag. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I'm going like I'm writing the whatever is written here. I'm just writing this particular code. I'm copying this one. Now see, first of all, what I have written in this code, I'm explaining one by one. First of all, I have given that hello. After that, it will show the value whatever I have given in the input parameters. Okay. So that means whatever the value we are giving the input parameters, it is actually uh, you can say assigned in this particular value variables, and these variables values actually you can see we are actually showcasing after the hello part in this paragraph tag. Okay. Now in JavaScript, sorry, now whenever you are first time loading this component, that time this particular input field will be blank, correct?
Hmm.
Because you are not giving any value. So what will show, what it will show? It will show something hello blank, but it is actually hello blank is something is very wrong. That's why what I have written here, see, whenever you are loading this particular web component, that time automatically we are updating this variable with a particular static value called world. That means whenever you are loading this particular web component, it will go to the HTML, it will check this variable, it will go to the JavaScript component, it will see, okay, the variable value is world, it will show the hello world part. Means right now, till now, we have not done any change here. Means we have not fired any event on change or on click event. Just we have loaded the component. Okay, means whenever you are first time logging in the Salesforce, you just opening the page. That time you should show what the value you have defined at the means basic values you have defined already, means at the time of load. Okay, if you don't give this particular one, automatically it will show as blank, because that time the greeting don't have any value, it has null value. But if you are actually populating any value, automatically at the time of load, whenever you are not firing any event, it will show hello world. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now just after I'm coming this on change a change handler event later. Just I'm deploying this one. Now just I'm going this particular one. What will happen? See, it is coming as world in both of the places. Okay, why it is coming world here also? Because see, in greeting variable I have given the value, and we are actually we are giving this value also in this input variables, sorry, input parameters. Okay,
Hmm.
clear? That's why
Yes.
whatever the value you are defining here, automatically in the input variables also it's coming, and also in this paragraph part. Okay, now I'm coming to the on change event handler. Now, whenever you are changing the value, we are telling that, okay, at the time of changing the value, we are firing an event called change handler event, but or change handler method we are calling. Now, in this particular one, see, this is the method change handler. And when this change handler it will call a event means at the time of firing the event we are calling this particular method. So it's an event method. That's why we have written here something like that change handler, And in this particular first bracket part, we are writing event. That means it will define that, okay, this is a event function, event method, not function, event method. Event method, which actually it is called via some of the particular area of template, sorry, the HTML part. Clear?
Sir, please repeat.
So this is change handler. I have written event in this particular tag. When I'm writing event, that means this function is a event function. Okay, this function, whenever we are writing event function, automatically the system will understand this will be called or this will be fired based on some of the event conditions in the HTML part. That means in the HTML we have written something after which this event will be called, this event function will be called. In the HTML part we have written on change event. That means whenever in this input variables we are changing the value, we are calling these event functions. Okay,
Yes, sir.
now we are calling this change handler event. Now what we are doing, this greeting, see here, this dot greeting, be very careful on this particular syntax, because lightning web component is very case sensitive. If you are writing something lowercase or means camel case, you should be very careful, because the variable part, that means this variable part, you can define anything, you can write anything. This particular class name, you can write anything. But means this particular one, it should be very case sensitive. If you write E capital, it will not fire. So be very careful, means whatever you are writing, you should be very careful, because normally LWC is very case sensitive. Now this is the variable. How we have written this dot variable, that means the variable we are defining, okay, this is the variable which is actually we are mentioning here. So whatever the variable you are defining, if you want to assign any value or you want to call any value of that, you always use this syntax. This is the actually the syntax for the variables which is defined outside of any particular method or any particular function. How I'm telling you, let's say you have defined here also a variable. This is a variable I have written, test. Now if I want to use this test variable here, how we have to write the syntax? This dot test, and something we can write some of the assignment. Let's say if I assign the same value, we can write here. So whatever the variable you are writing outside of any functions, those, if you want to access this variable in the JavaScript, always write these dot sections before that. Otherwise, what will happen? Normally in JavaScript, there is a very big problem is there. If you are not giving any syntax, and if you are doing any something wrong in the page, normally you cannot find, because it will be deployed. Sorry, it will be deployed, but in the page when you are loading, you will see nothing is coming and you cannot see any error. Normally in Apex class, what will happen if the syntax is wrong? Normally at the time of save, you are getting the error, right? Okay, this syntax is wrong, just please clear this value. But in LWC, means HTML, in the LWC component, it is not happening. That is the problem for the JavaScript component. So for the syntax, you'll be very careful. How you can check? You, there is a options, but this is actually it is actually for the advanced level users, means who have written lots of codes, then actually they can understand. Whenever the web component, if you are going and if you just clicking on this particular page called inspect, right click and inspect, see one component will automatically open, and in console you can get the error if you have anything. But this is actually I'm telling for the advanced levels. Normally first you just go through this basic part. Whenever you can write the lightning web component very well, then you can get this particular options and you can debug on those particular area. Otherwise it will be very difficult for you. But before that, just be very careful whatever the thing you are writing in LWC. It is the case sensitive. Please be very careful about this particular one, case sensitive. And one, whatever the variables you want to access, just you have to mention these dot tag before that variable. Now if you want to, if this variable is not a global variable, let's say global means outside the functions we have not written this variable, this, if this is the local variable, just what you can do, you can write something like that. You don't have to write the this dot tag here, because this is the local variable and you are using in between this function. Outside this function, these variables has no values, you cannot get. Same like the apex method, you have the public variables and you have the local variables. Like in between the methods, if you're writing any variables, normally you outside of this method you are not getting. But if you are assigning any variable publicly, means outside all the methods and after the class, automatically in all over the class you can access this variable, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Same thing like that. So be very careful about the syntax, what actually I want to mention here. Okay, otherwise what will happen, it means whenever I have read, I have started my journey in LWC, I have faced this problem a lot. I have written the code, I checked, I deployed, and then in the page it's not showing anything. After debug a lot, I got, okay, I missed this syntax for one of the variables, and that's why it is coming the error. Something happens sometimes. Okay, now let's come. Now what I'm doing, I'm that's thus I am assigning this variable value with the event dot target dot value. What is this particular one? Now event, that means this particular event, on change event. Event, it's event dot target. Target means which is the target, means from where actually this event is got fired. This is the target part. Okay, and means whatever the value you have written here, whatever the value you are writing here, for which this event is firing, that this particular value you are assigning. That means event is firing on changing the value of these input variables. So the event dot target, which is the target for which actually the this event is fired, that means this is the target, lightning input field. And what we are calling the value. What is that? This value. Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone has doubt in this particular one? Why we call event dot target dot value? Let me explain once again. So this is a event, on change event. Why? When it is firing, it is firing when you are changing any value in these input variables. We are calling this event function and change handler. It is going there, and this event by which target it is fired, this is the target. Means for this particular input field, if you writing means or changing something, this event is got fired. So this is the target of this event. Okay, and on this particular target, what the things actually you want, the value, that means whatever the value you are writing here in this input field, sorry, this value you are assigning in this particular variables, this does grading. Okay, and that is actually you are showing in this particular paragraph part. That means whenever the values you are changing in this input field, this event will fire. Event will check from which target it will fire. It will fire from this target, and it will take the value of this particular target, and that particular value it will assign in this variable, and it will be automatically changed here. Okay, now you got that how dynamically you are changing the value.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just I am just deploying this particular one. Now just I'm refreshing this one. So first of all, we have written the LWC component, which is static. Right now, we have just introduced a means a input field, and now I am doing a actions, event actions. Just I am changing. Let's say I am giving. See, whenever I am writing here, automatically the upper part will are changing. Whatever I am writing, the same thing is actually coming here on change. If I giving blank, see it is coming as blank. If I writing anything, it is coming here. Means whatever the change, I'm changing this particular sections, or sorry, the input variables. This firing the on change event, it is then targeting the, means it is finding the target, means from which event, which target this event got fired, and that value, whatever the value of the target, it is taking and it is automatically populating here. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
This is the very basic things actually what is actually mentioned here. Okay,
Mm.
see here also the same thing actually they have introduced. So now in this particular lightning web component, I have written one change event. Okay, now let's, in this particular one we have assigned a variables. Okay, this means greeting. Now in the variable part, like in the apex class, normally we, if we want to expose any variables as a public, what we are writing, we are writing as a public string the variable name, right, outside of the method below the apex class. So the system will automatically understand that this is a public variables. And if you want to static variables, static means whatever the value you assigned, all over the transactions it will be the static, the value will be static. Okay, so what we are, how we are defining the variable, public static, then either is a string or number and the variable name. Correct?
Mm.
Yes.
So that means this is a static variables, and whenever you are assigning any value, all over the transactions the value will be static. The same kind of variables you can assign here. Okay, this called decorators. Different decorators you can assign. One called @API decorators, one called @track decorators. I'm going to the next trailhead. You can understand this one.
Sir, please provide the trailhead link in the chat, sir.
This trailhead link.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Yeah, definitely. I will give you in the chat. No issues.
Sir,
Thank you, sir.
I have one question regarding the dynamic part you have told in JS.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, please show me the HTML part.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, suppose there is a new division which is getting a new dynamic value. Uh, Greeting. I mean, there is a new part. Here is calling the hello greeting, and there is a new part, something like that. In the
Okay.
JS part, how can I assign the new part?
You are telling that hello test. Okay.
Okay.
I have given here test. The
Hmm.
input values only the value with the test. Now this change handler functions, the same functions you
Same,
cannot
yes, sir,
call.
same function.
No, same functions you cannot call. You have to call a separate function, because this is a separate sections and separate field, right?
Yes.
Now you can call, let's say, change handler test. I have written this function name. Okay,
Change handler text. Okay, okay.
I have calling this particular one from here on change. Which functions you will call change handler test, separate functions. Okay,
Okay, okay, okay.
in this one what we'll do, this test, this is a variable, I have to define this variable. I have defined this variable here. Okay,
Hmm.
now what we'll do, I will change here.
Sure, test. Okay, sir. I got it, sir. I got it.
Now just I'm deploying this one.
the on-change event handler will call the class name, right, sir? In the
Class
HTML
is a
part.
function, not class. The function. This is the function.
Okay.
This function on chain, it's calling a function. What is the function? This function. In this function, this is the event function. In this function, what is doing? It is checking from which event this function has fired. Okay, means
Oh,
which target. Sorry, which event it is fired, and it is actually fetching the target of this event. Now here, what is the target? This is the target. Okay, don't
yes,
confuse. This is not the target because this is the different function. Here, this is the target.
yes, sir.
The
I am.
event has fired. Okay, and what is the value of that? This is the value, and that value actually we are populating here after hello. Okay, let's say I am writing something high. Upper part is hello, lower part is high, so that we should not be confused here. And also the label name I can change something like that. A test. Here it is name. I'm giving label name as test. Okay,
Okay.
so that we can segregate these two particular sections. See, now see, previously in this particular one we have assigned the value called world in the greeting, but in the test we have not assigning anything. So see how it is coming. In this particular one is coming as hello world, but as we have not assigned anything,
It's
it's
blank.
coming as blank. Okay, now if I writing in anything, then automatically it will come, but it will not change in this particular one. Okay, because this is different function, this is different function. Okay, clear?
Sir, the function name is different, but the event we are calling that is the same.
So
Same event.
function event is actually a trigger point. See, in for the different objects you are writing trigger, you can have trigger for opportunity, you can have trigger for account, you can have trigger for contact. So trigger is actually something called event. But from where actually you are firing this event, that is very much important.
Yes.
Okay, you are
Yes.
firing this event from this particular function, this change handler test event. You are firing from this particular input sections, not this field. Okay,
Yes, sir. So, sir, when in JavaScript page, when we are calling the change handler test, and it will find in the HTML page that where is the change handler test
no, actually
is.
in JavaScript first you will see in the HTML part. First of all, you have to display something, then it will go to the backend part, right? So
Okay, sir.
first of all, it will load this particular this particular sections. Sorry, there is a, it will 1 minute. First, it will load these particular sections. Okay,
Yes, sir.
and there if you are changing anything, means in the input value, then what we are mentioned that okay, we are changing this input value, then we are firing a event, and we are calling a event function called change handler test. Now where it will search the change handler test, it will go to the JavaScript, then it will find okay, where is the change handler test is written there, here is the function. And in this function, what is actually we have done, means whatever the logic you want to give, you have to written, means in the change handler test, what you want to do, you have to write in this particular sections. So in this particular event function, what we have done, we have just we have given the value in this, means assigned the value in these variables.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, one thing I can show you here, just you remove this particular test part, and if you deploy, see, the page will not load, the error will come, but you cannot get, means automatically the page will deploy, but you cannot get where the error is coming. See,
Hmm.
This is the error. Now you have to find out that where actually you have see test is not defined. This is the something, this kind of error is coming. That means this is the variables, but we have not given this syntax. Okay, this is the variables where actually we want to update. Otherwise, if it is a local variable, then we should have to define like where.
Yeah.
Okay, or if it is a variable which is defined outside, then we have to call, sorry, this dot. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so it very careful on this particular one, because I have got this error several time, and sometimes it's very difficult to find out where, because if you have a large code, normally it is, if it is giving you the pain that how you can get the error, actual error. Let me refresh this page. Automatic, always it will come. See, now it will not come. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, one thing also I can show you. Let's say why this lightning card, how actually you see div sections is actually coming in different sections. Now what is the lightning card? It's a container. See, I can show you how it's actually coming in this particular page. So what I'll do, I will just cut this particular code, and I am writing here. Sorry.
It will make, sir, is this make another section like hello world?
Yes, I am writing as a high, not world. I'm writing
No,
as a
sir.
high.
I am telling that like
Yes,
hello. Hello.
I'll show you that how. Sorry, how it will come. Okay, just refresh this page. See,
Hmm.
this icon I have given here also. Icon name. It's a standard icon. Automatically, this icon you can mean Salesforce icon. If you search, automatically you will get some standard icon. You can take any of the icon value and you can give here. If I don't give this particular one, what will happen? The icon will not come. Just I'm deploying, but it will come as a different section, different container, not section, different container, totally different container. See, this is a container, this is a container, totally a different container, though this is the same lightning component, but see, this is totally a different container. It looks like it's totally a different page or different sections, but same lightning component. Okay, just I'm removing this part, it's not required. Just to give you the example, I have written this one. Always deploy from the whole package, don't deploy individual code. Okay, it will be a best practice, they always deploy from the whole component, so that if you are written anything HTML, and also in JavaScript you change anything and you forgot to deploy the JavaScript component and you are debugging, you will get, okay, why it is not coming, some things, because you have not deployed the JavaScript component, you forgot. So that's why it's a better practice that parallelly HTML, JavaScript, XML, wherever you are changing, all together you deploy. Okay, always. Okay, this particular part is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a query, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in Apex, we have seen that if we are declaring any type of variable, there must be a data type. But in JavaScript, there is no data type. So it is by default, here is no data type.
No, data type means normally in JavaScript, let's say if you want to define any variable cause as a boolean, what we are, how we are writing,
Yes or
something
no?
like that.
Yes, true or false.
It will automatically coming as a true, sorry, checkbox variables. Okay.
Yes,
Normally,
sir.
if you don't define, normally it is coming as a string text field. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And if you want to define as a list, normally we are defining something like that.
Okay, sir.
Array, array of records. It's
Array
called
of
list.
records.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So and like the pick list also a text. Okay. Number, if you want to define as a number and text, you don't have to define anything. Same format you can write. There is no specific difference between this particular number and text in JavaScript. The variable, whatever the value you are assigning in the variable, automatically it will take number value, text value. For the boolean, you just have to write something in the particular one, true or false. So automatically the system will understand, okay, this is the boolean part, boolean variable. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, if you just define something like that, what will come? It will come as a text,
String variable.
because you mention as a string. See, if I give you some, if I deploy this one, see, it will come as a text in the screen. See.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So normally, if you don't mention, normally it is taking as a text, and you can add anything, number or the decimal, or any other number value, sorry, any other text values, anything you can add.
Okay, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. So I have only 15 minutes more. So just I'm going to the next trailhead part. Okay. You want this particular trailhead. Let's see. Let's post this one. The trailhead, you can go one by one, and you can learn, means whatever the basic part you can get there. Okay. Let me go there. So go out. Otherwise, if you log in Salesforce, otherwise, if you go to the Salesforce and if you search call L Lightning Web Component, see Lightning Web Component Basics. Okay, this particular one you have to start fast. You have you if you go there, you have the this one, discover Lightning Web Component, create. Okay, so I think I have given here. Uh, Discover the Lightning Web Component. Let me open this one. What it's actually showing here. No, not this one. Sorry. Quick style. Default. Default. Decorators. Okay, one thing I can explain here actually. See here, you can see the variable ready is mentioned as false. That means it's a Boolean variable.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Some of the functions you should know. What is this is called connected callback. What is the connected callback? I'm explaining. Now, connected callback, one of the method in LWC JavaScript component. Okay. One of the method in LWC JavaScript component, what whenever you are actually opening any LWC component or loading, means refreshing the page and loading any LWC component, automatically this method will be called. These functions will be called. Okay. Like something in the Apex class, you have a constructor. I think you have heard about that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Constructor, whenever you are opening, once you are loading the Apex class, automatically the first time the constructor will be called. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Something like that. Whenever you are actually loading any AWS component, automatically the connected callback functions will be called. Now, let's say if you have any kind of requirement, let's say at the time of load, you want to show all the account which is owned by you. Okay. So how you can write that particular one? For that, you have to write this function called connected callback. You have to write some logic here. Whatever the logic, I will come in the next session. Otherwise, you means if I go very fast, then automatically you'll be confused. Okay. Whatever the means whatever the means the parameters or the functions, or you have to write here, means how you want to fetch the accounts values, how you want to, why, where actually you want to display. So what will happen if you write the code particular here, automatically whenever you are loading this lightning web component, it the first time the connected callback will be called, and it will call all the functions wherever written in between this particular method, and it will be displayed in the HTML part. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So what actually in this particular example it's done, whenever you are loading this lightning web component, it's actually delaying some of the display part. See, this set timeout, this dot ready equal to true, and it's giving the delay 3000 seconds, something like milliseconds. And in the lightning web component, this sections template, see, based on the ready part, it is actually showing or hiding. I can show you how. Let's say just I am copying this one. In this particular one, I can showcase you. See, in between the outer template, they have written another template, two sections, one template, second template, and this template you have to show and hide based on the, you can show and hide based on the conditions. So let's say in this particular lightning card, you want to show this particular lightning card based on some conditions, then you, not this particular one, let's say this particular one, you want to show or hide based on some conditions, then what you can write, you can write a conditional view there. Here you can, okay. This is the variable I have to define in the JavaScript part. And I am giving this particular value. What I am writing, I am explaining later. What I have written here, see, these particular deep sections where you have written some hello something, whatever the input values you are giving, let's say hello world or something, those particular sections, it will be conditional highlighting, means conditional show or hide. That means whenever this ready value will be true, then only you will display these particular sections. Okay, otherwise not. Now at the time of load of this LWC component, we made this ready these variables as a false. Now after some delay, we are making these variables as true, the input, the boolean variable. So whenever it's become true, that time these sections will be true. See, it's written LWC if ready, means if it is true, then it will show these particular sections. That means in between this particular conditional view. That means whenever the conditions will be satisfied, only then it will display these particular sections, otherwise not. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Sir, please go to the JavaScript page once.
Yeah.
Oh, sir, here we mentioned ready as false. Okay, sir.
First time when you load, radius false. Like
False.
sometimes when you load the greeting value, we populate as world. First time, same thing. Whenever you are loading at the beginning, you populated the ready means as a value as false. It's a Boolean variable.
Yes, sir.
Automatically, if you define false or true, it is actually system will understand it's a Boolean variable. After some delay, we are making this variable as true. Whenever it will be true, then only these particular sections which is written in between a conditional part, only these sections will be displayed. See the syntax, it is written that is this lwc colon if, this is the syntax, equal to ready. That means whenever if it will be true, I think you have in Apex class, you know, if else conditions.
Yes,
Whenever
Yes, sir.
you go in the if condition, when the conditions will be
True.
satisfied, true.
Yes, sir.
So if it is true, then only these sections will be displayed. Let's say if I deploy this particular code, what will happen? Just whenever I'm loading, first time the hello world will not come. After some delay, it will come. See, have you got the delay?
yes, sir.
Whenever you are loading, just see the hello upper part is not there. After some delay it is coming. So that means whenever you are loading, that time it is false. That's why this conditional part, that means whatever you have written, it is not coming. After some delay, we are making this variable as true, then it is coming. Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
So I think we are actually ending of this particular meeting. So what you have understood today? First, you have learned that how you have to create a Lightning Web component. In Lightning Web component, you have three parameters. One is the HTML, JavaScript, another one, and last one is the XML. HTML is actually the display, and whatever you are writing, you have to write all your display part in between the template tag. Okay.
Yes, sir.
JavaScript is actually whatever you are doing, any actions you are writing in JavaScript. Any kind of actions you can call any Apex method, you can call a on change or on click or any other event. Those you have written in the JavaScript component. HTML is actually defined that where actually you can use this particular Lightning Web component. Either it will be a you can use in the home page or record page or app page, that you have to define here. Clear?
Yes, sir.
In the basic part, whatever we have written, we just written a something called hello world particular segments part, where you have some Lightning input field, and whenever you are giving any value in this input field, it's firing a on change event. It's going to the JavaScript component, is finding the on change event, on change function, and in the on change functions, what we are doing, we have assigned a variable. That variable value it's updating with which the target of that event and the value of the target we are fetching, and we are updating the value, and we are updating the variables with that value. Okay. Also, in the HTML part, we have shown that how we can do a conditional view. That means based on the conditions, we can show or hide a section or any particular, uh, you can say, container or whatever the part you want to show and hide based on the conditions, that you can do. For that, again, you have to write this conditional part. In between template, you can write the conditions whenever it will be shown, or when it will be hide, something like that. In JavaScript, you have a function called connected callback. Connected callback functions is called automatically when the page will be load. And this particular means if you have any kind of requirement, that means at the time of page load, if you want to display some of the values, you can write all the functions, all those things in between this connected callback method or functions. Okay. In the example, what we have done for the conditional view, we have given some of the variable Boolean variables called ready. Whenever we are loading, that time it's we make that variable as false. That means the sections which is in between this particular conditional view, it will not be displayed, it will be hide. And in the connected callback, what we have done, up we have set a delay. After some time, we are making the variable as true, and you can see the section automatically whenever it's made true. Clear?
Yes.
Till this particular one, any doubt, anyone?
Sir, if I make the ready variable as a local variable, then is it get affected?
Then you cannot assign here. If you have made a local variable, you cannot get outside of this particular method, right, or function. You have to you have to use
As a
in,
global.
yeah, you have to use in page as well, right, in
Yes,
HTML
sir.
part.
Got it.
If you use the variable, a local variable, then outside of this connected callback, you will not get the value of this particular one.
Yes.
Then how you can use this particular one in the page? So there is no meaning. Local variable only if you want to do some of the means calculation or something in between the functions, then you can assign the local variable.
Yes, sir.
But
I got it.
again, if you want to use the all the calculations, all the logics in the template, means in the HTML part, you have to assign those values in some of the variables which is defined outside of the function, means global variables. Okay,
Hmm.
clear?
Yes, sir.
Any other one?
Yes, sir, I have a question. Sir, at the time of the page is loading, sir, when we executing the whole package, sir, then which one is executing the first? Is it the JavaScript page or HTML page?
First of all, it will go to the HTML part. Okay, now
Okay,
in the
sir.
HTML part, it is got, okay, there is some of the logic, then it will go to the JavaScript part. So actually it is going parallelly. That means HTML loading happened, JavaScript loading also happened. Normally XML is nothing, it's not loading every time, it's actually to exposing a lightning web component. Okay, JavaScript is loaded. JavaScript, when it's loaded, when then it's checking, okay, there is something called connected callback is written. So JavaScript can understand, okay, we have to call these functions immediately whenever the page is load, and it will do some logic, and based on that we are actually updating the values in the page. So parallelly, page and JavaScript both will all together is working and displaying the sections, displaying the results in your screen. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So you cannot say, okay, fast, like not like that. The fast HTML always will load and it's JavaScript. It's actually a fraction of delay. All together it is loading and you are getting the result in the screen.
Okay, sir.
Because let's say you have written some of the logic in the connected callback. That means you do some query in the Apex logic and you fetch some of the records and you want to display those records in the HTML part. So HTML will call the JavaScript. JavaScript will call the logic, the Apex class. It will fetch the record. It will load and it will load it in the HTML part. And then at the end result, you can see the list of the records in the page. Okay. So all together it is actually happening. It's not like that fast HTML then JavaScript something. All together. It's a connected one, interrelated you can say.
Sir, one thing more. In the braces, second bracket, I mean second bracket. Sometimes we are passing the variable and sometimes we are passing the functions name or the event name, sir, in HTML.
HTML
Yes, sir.
here.
Yes, sir. Here in we are passing template LWC if is equal to second bracket ready, and in line number 6 we are passing on change handler in second bracket change handler. Sometimes we are passing sir variable and sometimes we are passing
Yeah,
the
because whatever this is not the static one. If you want this is dynamic, then always you will write inside the second tag. Either you can call the function. Now your question is that how the system can understand which is variable and which
yes
is the
sir,
event.
yes sir,
Normally this is the on change event, a function. If you write here a variable, the system will throw error. System always based on the syntax, it will understand when it should be a function, when it should be a variable. Something like that. In the value is nothing but a placeholder, right?
yes sir,
If from this placeholder, if you are calling any function, what will happen? It will be error, because it's actually containing a value. It's containing a text value, right? In containing a text. Now in the text, you cannot call a variable, sorry, a function.
no sir,
So that's why the system automatically will understand, because here if you call this on change handler event, it will give error, because the paragraph always take only the static values. Static means the um, static in the sense not the not function, the variable values you can say. So you cannot call any functions from here. So automatically the system will understand. But for you as a developer, you have to understand where from where you have to call the variable, you have to call the function. On change is actually an event. That means after doing some change, you want to call something or you want to do something. Okay. Now that cannot be a particular variable. It should be a function always. So then whatever you are writing, this will be a function. The value is nothing but a placeholder, where actually you are storing some of the values, variable values. So it cannot be a function, it should be a variable. Okay.
yes sir, got it sir. Thank you sir.
Same thing like that here. It's based on some of the variable values. We are show or hide this section. We want to show and hide these sections. It cannot be a function, it should be a value. That means a variable. Clear?
Yes sir, clear.
Okay. So